You probably drink it every day, especially in the summer. But how much do you know about it? Beer is a food consumed since time immemorial, which has constantly evolved and reached the third most popular drink in the world, after water and tea. Let's see some interesting things about beer, good stories to friends, on a terrace. 1. The history of beer begins with the history of humanity. Beer is produced and drunk before writing. The oldest evidence of the existence of beer was discovered in western Iran and dates back 3,500 years. 2. The ancient Sumerians made beer from bread and malt. An ancient Egyptian document lists no less than 17 types of beer, with names such as bringer of joy and divine. It's by far the most popular alcoholic beverage in the world. In 2016, people everywhere consumed almost 200 billion liters of beer. 4. In the Middle Ages, beer was by no means a recreational drink but was a mandatory part of the population's diet. 5. In ancient Mesopotamia, beer was associated with religion and rituals, being considered to have magical powers. It is said that the gods of Mesopotamia had their own breweries. Ninkasi was the Mesopotamian goddess of beer, and she is said to have learned the craft of producing beer from humans. Beer was so important in Mesopotamia that there were laws clearly stipulated in the Code of Hammurabi in connection with its commercialization. 6. In medieval Europe, Catholic monks held what was called beer fasting during the 40 days of Lent. They did not eat food but took their calories from beer, which they called liquid bread. 7. The brewing process has completely changed, from the Middle Ages to the present day. At one time, beer was widely produced only in households and monasteries, in an effort by the community. 8. The French scientist Louis Pasteur wrote in a book about the diseases caused by beer and the causes that lead to its spoilage. 9. Aristotle argued that wine drinkers and other intoxicants fall drunk in all directions, while beer drinkers tend to fall only on their backs. And yet, the ancient Greeks were not heavy drinkers, they preferred wine. 10. Tanit was the goddess of beer to the ancient Egyptians. She was also the goddess of birth. The Egyptians were heavy consumers of beer, claiming that this drink provides them with an increased intake of vitamins and that, in general, it is cleaner and safer for health than Nile water. In ancient Egypt, beer was mainly produced by women. 11. Although more beer is produced today than in the Middle Ages, Europeans in those days drank, on average, more beer than they do today. 12. Brewers had been adding hops since the 9th century. Today, almost all types of beer are produced with hops, which add that bitter aroma characteristic of the drink and also act as a very good preservative. 13. The Viking warriors, who arrived in Valhalla after their deaths, were greeted with beer. 14. There is a famous quote from Benjamin Franklin, which you can often see in American pubs and beyond: beer is proof that God loves us and wants to see us happy. It's just that the quote is false. Franklin wrote this phrase in an office to Abbey Moral, but the subject was wine, not beer. 15. The oldest continuously operating brewery is located in the Weihenstephan Monastery in Bavaria, Germany. Benedictine monks here began producing beer in 1040. 16. The largest brewery in the world is Anheuser-Busch InBev, which produces well-known brands such as Budweiser and Corona. Adolphus Busch, one of its founders, emigrated to the United States from Germany in 1857, saying that my goal is to make Americans everywhere beer lovers. 17. A bottle of Allsop Arctic Ale, produced in 1875 for an expedition to the North Pole, was sold at auction in England in 2015 for £3,300. 18. The coolest beer in the world is called Snake Venom, produced by a factory in Scotland, and has 67.5 alcohol. In comparison, on average, vodka has 40 alcohol and regular beer contains between 3 to 10. 19. The Guinness Book of Records was conceived by Hugh Beaver, the executive director of the Guinness Brewery in Dublin, as a means of resolving disputes in pubs. In 1951, Beaver took part in a hunting party in North Slob, during which he strongly disagreed with another man on the topic: who is the fastest bird in Europe, the golden whistle or the red goose? For compliance, this is the whistle. 20. After the Danish physicist Niels Bohr won the Nobel Prize, the Carlsberg Company gave him a house with a brewery connected to the factory, to which was added, of course, free beer for life. 21. In 1963, Heineken launched a range of beer bottles which could also be used as bricks for housing construction, with the idea of providing construction raw materials for disadvantaged areas. 22. The first Christian kings of England had great difficulty in limiting the consumption of beer among the citizens of the kingdom. Along the old Roman roads you could find, from place to place, small beer stands that served this drink to thirsty travelers. 23. The Czechs consume the largest amount of beer per capita in the world, while China is the country that consumes the most beer, in terms of quantity. 24. Rainbow Group, a government organization in Amsterdam, hires alcoholics to clean the streets of garbage, then pays them for beer. 25. At the Schloss Starkenberg Brewery in Tarz, Austria, you can take a dip in a beer pool. Beer is said to have a beneficial effect on the skin. So, it seems that beer has a long history and a big importance. I hope you enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe and to leave a comment.